Seeking English S.A.T. Workbook, page 402, problem 2, no calculator. And this is not multiple choice. You have to calculate and put something in the box. So if you are in a hurry, you're going to do badly. Your chances of getting a multiple choice question correct by accident are about 25%. Here they're far less than that, because I don't know what there's some limit to the number of answers that could go in that box, and I haven't calculated it, but it's a very large number. It's not 4 possible answers. So you are at very high risk if you rush through this problem. Okay, if you're going to slow down on specific problems, slow down on the ones where you actually have to calculate. Okay, it says of the shirts Lorenzo is packing for a business trip. Of the shirts in his closet, 12 have collars. So for us, that's the beginning of the story. At the beginning of the story, his shirts are all in his closet. Okay, and I'm going to put this on the board right away. Is 12 shirts and an unknown number of shirts in the denominator, and I know you don't want the variable in the denominator. We're gonna move it out from there eventually. Okay, but this is where our story begins. I want to make sure that we get the correct story before we start simplifying the story in some way. Okay, so if he took all of his shirts with him, is one way to look at this. Yeah, think about this for a second. If he took all of his shirts with him, 12 of them would have collars. It would be inevitable. Okay, so that's the probability out of all shirts. Okay, I'm not going to do it too much. And the other part that they gave us is this. He decides to randomly select which shirt to pack, meaning one shirt. He's going to pack one shirt. And don't do this on the test, and I'm going to show you why not to do it. If he packs one shirt, this number 12 is related to this by being divided by 12. So this becomes X divided by 12. That is not very useful information. It's true, but not everything that's true is useful. This is not useful. So if you find yourself doing that on the test, just leave it and mark it out, work around it, but don't beat yourself up or kick yourself for having done it. Okay. Try to stick with what they give you at first. We had not completed the story when I did that. It's an example of what not to do. So don't copy me. Don't copy me. Okay. 2 over 5. It's the probability. If the probability is 2 over 5 that the shirt will be selected has a collar, how many shirts are in the closet? Okay. So here, if he took all the shirts, 12 of them would have collars. This is, if he took 5 of them, okay, the most likely result is that 2 of them would have collars. Okay. Okay, it's not certain that it could be all 5 of them, or it could be none of them. Those are both possible, but this is our projected result, is that 2 of them would have collars. If this matches that, then they're truly selected at random. Okay, so at this point, many students can probably just do this in their head, bang bang. That's fine if you do it reliably. Okay, I want to make sure that you see how else to do it, to make sure that you have a model of how to do it when you are tired or confused, or if you're a student for whom this is slightly more difficult. If this is slightly more difficult for you and you cannot do it in your head, if you are willing to work for those points and you have time to somehow produce those points on the test, you are entitled to them. Do not entertain the idea that if something is easier for someone else, that they are more entitled to those points. It's absolutely not true. It's not. Okay, so I'm going to show you the rest of this. There are various ways. You could just rotate it like this, whatever. Okay. For me, the default approach, when you have a fraction, then an equal sign, and another fraction, the equal sign is important. Don't do this with inequalities. Okay, or if you are going to do that, make sure you know what you're doing. This time, the equal sign is there. We don't have to think about it too much. I like to just move things diagonally. Okay, so I don't want this 2 here. I don't want that x there. I want the x in the numerator. So for me, that's the first move. Put the x in the numerator. Put the 2 in the denominator. Okay. I'm not going to switch the 12 for the 5. I'm just going to move the 5 up here. Okay. And as an extra step that you don't have to do, I just want to show it to you. Again, the invisible denominator of 1 tells me, when I see it in my mind, okay, I'm on the right track. You don't have to write it, but knowing that it's there actually will not necessarily slow you down, and it will give you some assurance that you're doing the problem correctly, if it's a more complex problem than this, especially. Okay, the invisible denominator is your friend. So there's invisible denominator is gone. And then you have x all by itself. And you have everything to calculate over on the other side. And you should not need a calculator for this. And on the test it says no calculator. Please don't use a calculator, okay? We already said, this is a problem where you might want to slow down because there's no multiple choice. Okay, 5 times 12 is going to be 60. Okay, 60 divided by, I don't know if you can even see that. Next video is a different marker. 60 over 2 is going to be 30. Okay, and if you double check it, that's what it is. Okay, I've made this long and complicated, but it's to make sure that that this seems very obvious to you by the time you take the test. Hopefully, if this video was not obvious to you and you get to the end of my videos and you come back and you review this, hopefully you'll feel like you're wasting your time then. That's my goal.